Hi, everyone. Welcome to
Hello.
our training drop. Today, we're going to be talking about the Focus and Find PDF document that's like the end all be all of marketing plans. And it's going to really help you move the needle forward in your business and make you feel like a real business owner. Because when we do it, we're just like, yeah, we feel so good about ourselves. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started. Focus and find. When you focus, you can find. I know that sounds really, really like elementary and like dad, but it's true. And we're going to get into that here in a second. But marketing by default versus marketing by design. Marketing by default is kind of, this is a really good analogy. It's kind of like when you're blindfolded and you're hitting a pinata, you're going to hit it, and sometimes you're going to win big. An example is a friend of ours that has a personal brand, and she's in our social club. Her name's Cappy. Southwest had a major debacle in the last week and lost her bag, and she posted about that. And she got so much candy in the forms of reactions and comments and shares and likes and laughs and all those kinds of things from that post. But she can't, I mean, of course, that's making a connection with their audience. You're supposed to have, that personal connection with your audience, and you can talk about personal things, especially when you're a personal brand. But her business, the needle on her business cannot move forward, depending on Southwest losing her bag every week. That's not what is going to happen there. So marketing by design is when you have purposeful, goal driven, pre-planned, written content, scheduled, going out, on your behalf on a consistent basis, so that if you're having a bad day or you're tired or you just don't really have any great content that day, it's okay, because your marketing by design is going along at a good clip and it's moving that needle forward. So here's my example of if you focus, you can find. So Nicolas Cage in National Treasure, he is on a treasure hunt, and he truly believes that there is something on the back of the Declaration of Independence. Well, one of the clues leads him to these Da Vinci glasses in the movie, and he pulls them out of the brick and he takes them off and he puts them on, and he, does whatever he does with the little lenses, and he looks at the map, and all of a sudden the map comes alive. It's on the back of the Declaration of Independence. So he was able to put on lenses that allowed him to see something that he hadn't seen before. When my husband and I bought this Toyota Tundra, well, let's just be honest, he went and got it because I hate dealerships. But the first time I drove it, I just realized we bought the same truck as everyone else in, under God's green earth here, because everywhere I looked in the parking lot and on the road, there was a white Toyota Tundra. But it's because it was on my mind. I was focused on it because I'm driving this big truck, and that's why I was able to see it. Prior to buying that vehicle, I didn't really see those. There's just like other cars passing by. And then my third example is when I go to a flea market. I'm going to one tomorrow. I have a list of things that I'm looking for. And, treasure hunting is fun, but it's hard. You just feel really overwhelmed because you're trying to look at everything and you can't see it all. But if you're going with the intent of buying this little bitty, table fits just right next to the console in your bathroom or one of those small spaces, then you're looking for small tables and you see these little tables underneath a bunch of crap. You're like, oh, that the hardest thing to get to, that's what I need. But you would have never saw that if you weren't looking for it. So when you focus, you can find, and it's the same with your content and social media. We all have businesses that evolve. We're multipreneurs, we're mompreneurs, we're solopreneurs, we're entrepreneurs, we're all the things. And we have lots of crap on our plate. And we have a lot of things that we need to market and ideas for the future. And you just don't know where to start. So where you should start are these two documents. The year at a glance, this is the 2023 year at a glance, laid out by quarter. It's the best way because it matches with the focus and find that's January through December, and it's also laid out by quarter. So it's really important that you have the laid out by quarter example. Both of these are going to be in a class as documents that you can download over and over and over again. The focus and find is not tied to a year, but please notice that up here in the top right corner, you can add the year to that. And you'll want to do that and file it away in a little manila folder or something. And that way you can pull it out next year and redo a year at a glance based on what worked last year. So sometimes you're like, oh, I tried to market that didn't really work. Okay, well, don't do that again. If you marketed something else that really worked, double down. So there's two documents with this, and the year at a glance is about brainstorming. It's a living, breathing document. Mine has scratches, scratched out, added to. I just kind of tape it to the wall or put it in my planner. And if something's coming up or I add an event, I'll usually add it on that that year at a glance, because I know that I'm going to look at that the next year. Your focus and find document is about planning backwards with a focused, intentional, and goal-driven marketing plan. It is about looking at quarterly snapshots. So, okay, this quarter, these are the things I'm going to market. Do those work well together? And how can I sort of like weave, theme the quarters? Then they usually have a theme, and that's going to naturally happen, but just looking at them laid out like that really helps. And you want to base your focus and find on number goals, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Even at the magazine, when I was marketing for the magazine, our whole team, our editorial team and our marketing team and our sales team would get together. And I mean, you think this is just for individuals? No, big companies do this too. But on a whiteboard, we would write out January, February, March, and under each one we'd talk about, okay, what do we want our theme to be? What are our promotions that month? We would kind of market it out, like what is happening that we want to feature on each month's edition. And then as the marketing director, I would come in after that and go, okay, if we're doing the kid model contest, cover model contest in August, I know that I need to start marketing that for our plan. It's got to happen in June. So like everybody would throw up their ideas of what needs to happen in what month. And then I would go behind the scenes. And that's what we're going to talk about next, is how then do you work on a marketing plan based on what you want to happen in each month?
Yes. Okay. So this is the year at a glance. You can print one of these out for every single year. So we'll try to keep this updated in the actual class with the new one, but just Google year at a glance in the current year and printable and free. Swoop down past all the ads, pick that one, and there you go. So 2023 year at a glance. Angela and I were talking about this prior to, and I'm just going to give you one example, and then she's going to do another. I, in my past life, used to teach workshops. They were subscription box workshops where I would put all these crafty supplies for this one craft in a box, and then I would have a workshop each month. So I really had to plan out in advance what those were. And so as a simple example, each workshop was some sort of a sign or a banner that said some sort of word that was tied to the holiday. So we had freedom for 4th of July, believe for Christmas, harvest for Thanksgiving, spooky for Halloween, so on and so forth. And so each of my months were themed based on the upcoming workshop. So if I would write in October, spooky, right? Then on October, harvest, But as I'll show you in a second, I would plan backwards. So in October, I would market my harvest workshop. In September, I was marketing my spooky workshop. So whatever the event was that was coming up. So I really thought about what crafts I was going to be doing. And then I also did these big vintage market day shows where I would bring trailers full of wooden craft supplies and stuff. And so I would choose the spring and the fall show. And that month, they were always towards the end of the month. I would use the whole month to market towards that event. So those would be the only months I wouldn't be marketing a workshop to.
And that one is really event driven, and so is this one. So one of our clients, Savannah, who is a realtor, her marketing calendar is unique to her business, but what she does is every quarter she has created an event to drive her customer base to keep her clients engaged. They're all customer appreciation type events. Like, for example, in the end of November, she does a photos with Santa event where her clients can come and sign up and get a free photo with Santa. And then she has all kinds of things happening at that event. She does one in, wasn't it May around Mother's Day, where she does a little photo shoot?
For Mother's Day, I think.
Was it Mother's Day? Yeah. I can't remember what the other two were, but basically every quarter she has an event. So we worked with her on creating a system that kind of starts about 5 weeks in advance and how she needs to market up to that. But in addition to that, she also has a seasonality of her business, like spring, which is her peak time for, home buying. Then she has, everybody wants to get in the summer before the school starts and that kind of thing. So she has some seasonality built in. There's not just events, because events is not the heart of her business. Her real estate is. Yep. So also she's building in some of that seasonality and things that she wants to focus on, messages that she wants to deliver during certain months of the year.
Yeah. And the other example just with seasonality is back to school and teacher appreciation. I was also a teacher. And so those two resonate with me as examples because we've worked with a lot of like Young Living, doTERRA oils type people or people that are in that industry, in that business. And back to school in August, their products that boost immunity are really pushed hard during that season because they're safe for children, they're safe for classrooms, and they're just something that's really pushed. So in August, back to school, Thieves is a product line, and all Thieves products, and I do not sell them. I'm not a brand ambassador here. I'm just saying that I know from past clients that is pushed a lot during that season. And then meet the teacher appreciation, people who make things, t-shirts, bags. 31 consultants, their bags are really big at bless you, are really big at teacher appreciation week, because those are really great teacher gifts. So just think about what your business is. That's the point. There's no right or wrong. Think about all the things you've done in the past, and think about each month and what it means to your business and what's important to promote for your business during that month based on your products, services, and events. So the Focus and Find has two lenses, both a focus and a purpose. Your focus can be a product or product line, a service that you offer, or an event that's coming. So like Angeline said, Savannah had customer appreciation events. I had vintage market days. An event could be a back to school, like a time frame, or spring break. Some people have used spring break because I know travel industry experts market towards spring break and where to go and using their services. So your focus can be a product, a service, or an event. So when you're looking at your year at a glance, I want you to really think about the products, the services, and the events within the lens of your year and plot those out and just circle numbers and write notes to yourself, all of that. And I like to write whatever my final answer is right above the month. Okay, so you have the two lenses, and then the focus can be a product, a service, or an event. And your purpose is, there are more purposes than this, but these are the top 4. Your purpose could be to drive sales. Duh, we all need money in the bank. Monetary goals are great motivators for online marketing. You want to see results. Sales is a great one. Followers, hello, you need followers. The more visibility, the more you lead to further opportunities. So you've got to, your purpose can be just to get more followers. Your purpose of your campaign could be to build your email list. So your call to action in those posts would be join my email list, sign up for my email list. So all your marketing would go towards growing that email list. And your email list is your warmest market. Those people raise their hand online and they not only followed your page, but then they're like, yes, I want more in my personal inbox. Those people are the most likely to purchase from you. And then the last one is growing your membership, whether it be a Facebook group, social club, whatever it is. Growing your membership, it could be a free membership or a paid one, but that's the place where you provide value, boost your connection, and build the community that you want around your brand. And let's be honest, in relationship marketing is the best return on your investment of time. That is what's going to keep people around you. That's what's going to have people recommend you, refer you, review you, and they're going to pivot with you when you make a change. So relationship building is important, and you measure that by growing some sort of a membership or a group or something like that. So
and the email list, I will say, is really, really, it's something that we don't spend a ton of time on, but honestly, this is something you should really be driving through your social media to help build that email list, because that truly is gold for you. So you don't always want to be selling in your email as well. You want to be providing value through your email list. And, you know, we say this all the time, but it takes a little bit for it to sink in. And that's exactly my point, is that you have to repeat yourself over and over and over and over again before sometimes you will take action on something, even if it's something you really want to do. We need 10 million reminders because we're all over the place, right? Just like busy moms. We need reminders, and we also need that validation. Like sometimes things just feel like the first time you hear it, you may go, interesting. But then that's all the attention it gets. The next
time, over there.
Yeah, interesting, but I have no brain space for it right now. When it shows up again, you go, okay, all right, let me just read a little more. Anyway, by the time it shows up 7 times, why do you think, you know, the social media ads are so persistent? Because they know that you are not going to act on it the first time, but by the 7th or 8th or 9th time you see it, you're going to pay attention. So when you can work something, your marketing around your email list and your social media, then you have a much better chance of hitting all those points to make people act.
Yeah, for sure. So it's so important. Also, just putting this out there, I've been banned from Facebook 3 times in the past month. You know, I didn't even do anything. I really did not do anything.
Right.
I think I said something about a BB gun, and they're like, banned. And I'm like, okay, great. Whatever. I didn't even say like a bad word.
You were just being cute and funny. It was just funny.
Cute and funny. Hello. and I said something was the bomb.com one time, and I got banned. So email is your surefire way of not being banned from your followers. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, the focus and find is laid out quarterly. What you want to do is brainstorm, brain dump on your year at a glance, transfer the best and your priorities to this document. I highly recommend you use pencil. This is also a living, breathing document. Like I said, that year at a glance, I keep it with me. When you sit down to brainstorm, you do not think of everything. You're like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot that. So make sure that you're flexible. Okay. For those of you who like to, plan out and then you're like, by God, I'm sticking to it, give yourself grace because there might be something that's a better idea. Because if you do all this in one fell swoop, it's your best and your worst idea because it's your only one. You came up with it all at one time. So give yourself some flexibility in that. But again, not to talk out of both sides of my mouth, plan. You do have to plan and stick with something, right? So your focus and find. I want you to pick a focus for each month, and I want you to write your number goal. The purpose of focusing on this thieves product line is because I want to sell 10 sets by August 31st or whatever. And so then you have something to work towards. Now, what I want to be clear about is just because you're focused on promoting thieves, that could be a 10 post campaign that happens over 2 weeks. That's one post a day on Facebook, 5 days a week, 5 of the days a week. You have plenty of room to post about other things, but it's almost like you have more creative freedom to make really great default posts or reels or behind the scenes or post stories, because in your mind, you're like, I'm a rock star. My stuff's going for me and it's scheduled. And so you have a little bit more pep in your step and risk versus reward kind of thing going, because now you're not so desperate that this one swing and whack at the pinata is going to work for you, because you know that this is going in the background too. So if you hit the pinata and all the candy falls out and you hit the mother load like Cappy did with the whole Southwest lost my bag, then the next post they see is going to be, first of all, it's going to reach more people because your engagement is so up that whatever you posted is going to get a lot more traction because your default post was there to boost the engagement.
Okay, a couple other things too. Like, I know I can hear the questions bubbling up in our audience here. Can I have more than one focus for a month?
Well, okay. So yes, and I also will say it depends on the duration of the campaign. So when you focus, you can find. When I go to the flea market, I'm not just looking for one thing. I might be looking for 3 things, right? So I'm totally fine with that. But I just want you to narrow down the playing field. All of our businesses have lots of different aspects, fingers, we have ideas and stuff. And the purpose of this is to give you an intentional marketing plan. When we just heard it today. I have no plan. I want a plan. I want to be more consistent. This is the way that you do that. There is no right or wrong way to do it. This is just a simple 1-page marketing plan that will work if you stick to it. If you want to have 2 focuses, then you need to have 2 purposes. And focus on one first, schedule it, focus on the next one and schedule it. That way something is done. If you take on too many focuses, then you're right back at square one and you might as well not do it.
Okay, what about second question? If you are working on a campaign in a month, what is the right number of posts for that campaign that should be scheduled?
That is such a great question, Angelin. The way that I would answer that is, it depends. And it depends on a couple of things. It depends on what your goal is. And it also depends on how far out. So let's say life happens, which is the next slide that we're going to get to in a second. But let's say life happens and you've got an event in 2 weeks and you haven't done anything to promote it. So you're probably going to want to hit it harder. That means more frequent posts because you have a shorter amount of time to market it, right? Let's say that your focus is to, get 5 new clients by the end of July. Okay. July, a lot of people are traveling. So that month specifically is really dead for social media. So you have to post more to catch the people when they're online. So I would just experiment with it. Join Social Club if you're not already in it, and ask us then, and we can specifically play off what you're trying to do. But I would say that just as an average, I would post 5 days a week for 2 weeks for each focus. You don't
Okay.
have to do, or you could do 10 posts and spread them over a month. I think that's fair. But if you're doing 2 weeks and doing 2 focuses, then 5 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. No Fridays and Saturdays. Skip Fridays and Saturdays. Use those for your default posts. You're out at baseball games, you're doing stuff. If you're a personal brand, those are really great family time days and things where you're doing your passions and your hobbies for you to fill in the blanks with that.
Awesome. Okay, one more. I know this will be a FAQ, and we can just talk about it real quick.
Oh, yes. We need to write these down, by the way.
I know, I'm full of them today, right?
Yes.
Okay, when you're talking about scheduling,
Mhm.
how are you scheduling posts in advance?
So, prior to co-owning a digital marketing agency, I used to use Creator Studio. So you would go to Meta, your business suite on your Facebook page, and you would simply, actually, I'm going to show you really quick because that will be fun. Facebook. So when you go to Facebook, you go to the little home icon at the top. Make sure you're at your home and then scroll down to one of your pages. I'm just going to click this page. And then once you're on your business, oh wait, I'm sorry, that's my Instagram. Go to my Facebook page. You can go over here to Meta Business Suite, and that's where you can schedule your posts. Sorry, it's doing all these things. But anyways, so it's trying to connect to my page. But you can do over here on content, you can create posts and schedule them. You can also do this on the fly. So that's totally fine. If you see up here in your top right-hand corner, you just click create post, type it all out, and you can make it post to Instagram and Facebook at the same time, or you can choose different times for them to post. But it's super easy. You add your photo, you add your text, and once you write out your campaign for whatever that focus is, it could be 5 posts. I would rather you write 5 dedicated, purposeful, intentional posts and schedule them over 2 weeks' time to have something than do nothing. It's just about starting, right, and building a foundation of connection with your audience in a way that's predictable and that provides value and speaks to what you do as a business, so that people can interact with you. And as I told Cappy earlier today, it's rude to not tell your business friends how to support you. And so you want to have that goal-driven content posting on your behalf. And you can just use your Meta Business Suite. And I will tell you that Facebook really, really appreciates when you use their tools that they've created for you to create scheduled posts, and you are rewarded for that. Using a third-party scheduler, which there are tons of really great ones out there, it's not much, but it is less rewarded than when you use their in-house tools.
That said, we do recommend a third-party tool that we love.
Yes.
Called PLANN, PLANN. And we won't show it to you right now, but we do use a third-party app for many, many reasons, because it allows you to have a couple of different brands going under the same umbrella. And it gives you great content ideas, prompts, month at a glance. It's a helper. So we do love PLANN, and it's actually a little bit easier to use.
Yes.
It's used on your app and on your desktop. So there are certain, trust it, because Brooklyn was like, why do you use a third party app? I'm like, oh girl, when you are managing, because I felt I have spent my career doing done for you services for other brands. And so I've used several different ones, and I love the plan for our solo small businesses. They're amazing. It's an amazing tool. And so we have a link to that on our website under tools of the trade if you want to explore that.
Yeah. And I will say, coming from using Meta Business Suite, Zuckerberg changes things a lot and things get moved around and it gets real glitchy. And our clients have said the same thing, that it would be a lot easier if it wasn't so hard to use. And it's not that it's not intuitive to use, it's that it doesn't work. It's like glitchy. So PLANN is not that. And I mean, I love the grids and stuff that PLANN will give you, and it's a lot of it's really great. So third party, and like I said, it's a minuscule difference that you might not notice. You won't notice, especially if you're just getting started with all this, creating your content and having a plan and scheduling it. So we're going to wrap up with these last two slides. Life happens. Using the focus and find is a major step in helping you make space for all the other things in your life. And what I mean by that is headspace. Blocking off the time to do this year at a glance, brainstorm that all your business stuff, plot it on a focus and find, and take 1 month and pluck it out and create an editorial calendar, which is our next training that we're putting up. So make sure you watch that video. An editorial calendar of how to write out and plan that content. So right now we're just wanting you to choose a focus and write out your purpose. And let me tell you, and I'll leave you with this, mapping out a plan is so important. It's based on your past success and it's current purposeful, goal-driven, intentional content that makes you feel better, and it helps you move the needle forward and gives you less desperation in your default posting. And you don't sometimes even notice that you're doing it, or sometimes you're just like, I don't even know what to post, so I'm not gonna. Or you have 5 posts for 5 days and then you hit a wall and you're like, bam, I'm done. And then you don't post for a week. And what I want to show you here is this was something I found on my computer. This was from January 1st of 2020. Boy, we had no idea what was coming. None. We had zero idea what was coming. And so this is going to be historical record and a relic someday. This whole class is going to go down in history. I just know it. But today is January 2nd of 2023. And this is 3 years later. This right here was my brainstorm for 2020. And I had a plan. It was a living, breathing document, but I stuck with my plan. Remember, a lot of it was my subscription box business. And during the pandemic, that was a big darn deal, right? Because that's all they could do. So this really helped me to have the headspace to deal with homeschooling my kids and all those things that happened back then. Here we are 3 years later, and I'm sitting here talking about it, and it worked. And so I just want you to know that life is going to happen, and having a plan, setting it and forgetting it, letting it work on your behalf allows you to do all the other things.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Well, y'all have a great day, and we will see you later.